Now, Mumianko tie Napo, Eddie and Sam Napo aka. Napo, Asama Wakan say, or say, SHS double track system ended in 2020. Let anybody prove otherwise. Okotna a year GH1. And Okacha Ghana for say, a double track na, or then the MPP de buyer, or the first education minister and the Kufuado or the buyer, no. Or say 2020, and a double track no a free ho. This is Napo.
The first batch of free SHS students never went to double track. They were admitted as a single track.
Okay.
The second batch was the one that was admitted in as double track. And because of the double track calendar, the schools were even less congested than the single track calendar.
Okay.
Because it was that population that was halved. So the schools that had 3 streams of 1,000 each, right? When we increased, because of the numbers that came in, to 1,500 for the first year, that 1,500 was split. The subsequent, the earlier years that were in single track, 1,000, were also split to do the double track. So at any time T, the school's carrying capacity was less than even I came to inherit. So it's not true. And if you remember, one of the defining things about the double track was the gold and the green. I think I spoke about it here, the gold track and the green track. And I can say that since 2021, there has been no gold track and green track. The evidence is also there. So when people make the mistake of attributing congestions to double track, that happened subsequently. Double track was stopped, ended in 2020. Double track ended in 2020. And I keep saying that, let anybody give me evidence that it's not true. Double track was gold track and green track. In 2020, I was the minister that went to cabinet with a cabinet paper that we've built enough structures to contain, to take over the double track. And from 2021, we're not going to do double track. I have cabinet approvals. What happened subsequently was something called a transitional calendar.
Okay.
That unfortunately may have caused problems down the line. But it was not in the double track era. Again, when you talk about achievements in school, while you take your child to school, it's about the scores, the character that was built, the discipline, and the academic achievements. And I can tell you the double track and the single track that started have had the best WASSCE results for decades. The only WASSCE results that is comparable to what the double track achieved was what I'll call the 4-year President Kufuor cycle.
You see, sometimes, right, politicians make a fool out of themselves. And for some reason, for some time now, free SHS now a collapse here under NPP, no. Majority of the people were forgetting about Napo. And sometimes now we say politicians, you know, I am a bit more naturally, no. I am out of ignorance, and I say they just want to speak and be seen foolish. Because this is Napo. Now, I can send you. Before I go into the Napo can and then, what is double track? In the first place, what do you mean by double track? Double track is when kids are not able to go to school at the same time, period. When somebody goes to school and is not able to conclude the academic calendar and comes back home for others to also come in and learn. And somebody will say they do what we call the shifting cultivation or interchanging positions in one academic calendar, then it means they are changing tracks. It means they are not going to school the same time. That means ebimuko school nebi abafie. That is what we call double track. There are 2 tracks. We mu namha into we mu kono na we mu ba. Into we mu bano na we mu ko. Basic, that is double track. Now the idea of transitional calendar and the double track was gold and green. It has not come anywhere near any reasonable conversation. You telling me double track was gold and green does not take out the fact that kids were not all sitting in school at the same time, reading at the same time, vacating at the same time, and passing at the same time. You see, it does not take that fact away. The fact of the case is, and I say, first ana enkorani nyina eco school the same date. Na ye nyina tumi ka say enkorani nyina amakwan no. That wasn't happening under Ekufuado and Bawumia. So that is what we call double track. So it is not about the transitional, it is not about the colors, it is about the fact to say, Diana Emaganaphobia Ebuofuni say the kids were not getting enough teacher-student contact. At the end of the day, we could not even follow the academic calendar. At the end of the day, they could not still go through the syllables. At the end of the day, there wasn't enough time for these kids to study. So when you tell me, say, the first batch of free SHS, there was no double track, the fact is simple. There was no double track in the first batch. I'm talking about the first year, because you were not proactive to know that when they go to the second year, the number was going to double. If you were proactive and intelligent, you would have known that the numbers were going to double and that the number of classrooms was supposed to also double. The number of dormitories was supposed to double. Inti when Timimpo Hunyansen who say Sankofo we nyina first year, now moko second year, we are going to have a gap. Then you were not intelligent enough to run the free SHS system. Because you were the same people who told us, say, you were going to build 350 senior high schools, all because you were bringing something called free SHS. Why do you think Nana Adodan Akufo-Addo ne Bawumia promised Ghana say they were going to build the 350 senior high schools? It wasn't to bake bread in it. It was supposed to accommodate the number of kids you people were anticipating of enrolling on the senior free senior high school policy. So if you have been able to think about a policy and you have been able to estimate that the numbers were going to go high, why didn't you make provision to accommodate the numbers that were going to balloon? So your explanation shows us a number, Jimmy. You were not proactive. You were not smart. You did not know what you were doing. From the beginning, it was just a campaign promise. You did not have the intellectual know-how. Because if you had the knowledge about what you were talking about, the first thing you would have done was you would have told the first year or the 2 years of your administration, you would have told Ghanaians that you were going to implement the free SHS after 1 year or 2 years because you want to finish all the E-blocks because you were expecting a lot of kids to enroll on this policy. But you come and meet one bus at home. You buy one car, which takes only 2 passengers. A convertible, which takes only 2 passengers. Then you and the woman you live with, you tell the woman that you want to have triplets. Meanwhile, you have a convertible that takes only you and your wife, a Ferrari. There's no 3-seat back there. You give birth to 1 kid. Every time you are driving, move to car na akorani si wo yire na so because car no for 2 people. At that moment, now Korani sa into the biotumitra or yerenaso. Now you the same person who are there. O pesa wo me ensaka. But you have not made provisions to say Sunday obekwa sorry. Obekwa sing Korani school anopa. You have not made plans to carry your wife, your kids to school and to church. Into 9 now or car now uchi no air convertible or 2 seats no. Where are you going to put your kids? It means you are not being proactive. You are not intelligent. You did not think through the decisions you were making. You are not a man enough. You are not matured enough to even marry and sit with a woman in a house. Where Jimmy? So the grammar you were saying, and anytime I say, sometimes, I am a politician, so I am a pana. I am a 2024, you said, we should challenge you, said double track. By 2029, and when Educhum took over from you, this is October 2024. 5th November, let me put this up. This is the person who took over from you. This is 29th October 2024. Cancelling double track system will be disastrous. Which double track was Educhum talking about? This is 2024, October. Educhum told us that cancelling double track will be disastrous. That was when the NDC were saying that the best thing to do as a nation is to make sure we add the private schools to the senior high schools so that the double track, we will not have overflow. The kids can be spread across the nation. Even though we don't have adequate schools, they will be coming to complete all the free SHS schools that you people left. So they were still going to cancel double track. Your substantive minister then, who is Educhum, told us that canceling it, when somebody says canceling, it means that thing is still in progress. That thing is still in existence. He was acknowledging that in 2024 October, they were still running double track in Ghana. Napo, in November 2024, the same year, what did Educhum say? Educhum Catcher said, this is 5th November 2024. Double track key to free senior high school access. Don't abolish it. He said it in October and he said it in November. Napo edie pa na mo de ye o. Napo edie pa na nkofo we de ye o. Edie no mo hono ma hono ye. Edie enti sa position ba ko pe obepe say running mate. What did they die pa na mo de ma hono mo ye? Edie pa na mo de sa o. Edie dro pa na mo de ye wa. From the day a wugiti mu say obeba o mi running mate onye normal biem. Edie pa o yiri pa ntumi nkom paibo. And go find out what exactly happened. Napo, can't your wife decide to become body because something isn't right? You are still off. You are still off track. Be being right. And it pities me because you see, you are trying to sound intelligent, but anytime you speak, when people take their time to listen to you, they get to know you are depreciating more and more in wisdom. In 2024, October, November, your substantive education minister was telling Ghanaians that cancelling, meaning if we take that action, meaning that thing we were talking about, which is double track, still existed in October and in November 2024. So the 2020 was saying, even after 4 years, double track was still in existence at the NPP. De bia kasa hunu inkwasi akeka na po edi empa na mo de ye o ba omia de na mo de aye Napo Samira no Pedro pa edi na mo de aye Napo Samira edi na mo de boy mo de na kwhyen edi na Samira no Pedro pa edi na mo de aye Napo no